the one who goes out hunting. Shark. Marine UAV crew commander. My call sign is Malina, I'm the UAV crew operator. Behind us is the Shark unmanned aircraft complex. It differs in that it can conduct reconnaissance at distances much further than the Mavic. Also, it can stay in the air much longer than the Mavic. The peculiarity of working with complexes at the operational level is not only to find and destroy a target, but also to track important movements of equipment. On the base of this data, we make an analysis of the enemy's forces and plans. This drone is responsible only for reconnaissance, clarification of other intelligence data, and for elimination during operation of targets. I mean, we can't destroy targets on our own, only in cooperation with other units we work with. About the work process. We receive a task. I give the crew the command for gathering. In general, our equipment is always ready. We put some parts of the equipment in buses, and everyone goes to a designated point, which is prepared for work in advance. For example, the pilot and I go to one place, the operator and technician go to another one. Why so? This is in order to keep apart during the launch of our drone, so that we do not crowd together in one place. We arrive at the location, deploy the antenna, connect the equipment, configure it, get in touch and wait for a response from the technician and operator team. On the ground. ++. Then, when we have already established a connection, the drone starts up. After we launch the wing, we hide in a relatively safe place and wait for the next commands. When we were told, you see, there is a machine gunner working there, light him up, we will hit this goal now. We could argue, we are now observing a more urgent arc target. For example, it can be a raid or unloading of ammunition at that moment, and we are told, no, the machine gun is important, it must be destroyed. In my opinion, if we destroy a car with ammunition, or a warehouse, a headquarters, then this machine gunner will simply go away by himself, because he is not an independent unit. A machine gunner without ammunition is no longer a machine gunner. This UAV complex allows us to look a little deeper than other means, and this helps us to deal not with the consequences, but with the cause of the problems. We can carefully cut the vessels so that the blood doesn't reach the front edge. Playing games like find the machine gun, look for where the mortar is working from is a different level. We shouldn't do that. This complex costs about 30 million hryvnias, but there are different models of it. They are available with different configuration options, depending on the feeling. We're already starting from the price and configuration, of course. There were times when we landed this drone the way airplanes do, and as you can see, it remained intact. Everything depends on the specifics of the damage. Conventionally speaking, if it all falls on the wing, then the wing will break, but the complex will remain intact. If it crashes into the ground with its nose from acceleration, then most likely it will crash. Maybe the wings will remain intact, maybe it will crash completely. To smash such a shark to zero, we have never had such cases. Therefore, I can say that it's rather invulnerable to any damage and shocks. There are disadvantages of this complex as well. First of all, it's a struggle against the wind. I mean, our wind is constantly changing, and it happens that due to a parachute landing, we simply lose control of the drone. It takes some time to get it fixed. It's resistant to electronic warfare systems. It works well enough. There are no complaints about it. It also satisfies us in terms of time and distance. None of these drones were lost as a result of electronic warfare systems effects. We have losses either due to a parachute landing and a partial light damage, or it has already been hit by enemy missile systems. We haven't had a case where we have been blamed for the loss of sharks, because all losses were combat losses. If we had made mistakes, then most likely we would have been responsible for that. But at the moment, there was no such thing. If you need to find the person responsible for the loss of the drone, you need to go several tens of kilometers behind the front line to the other side. Take the enemy gunner of the anti-aircraft missile system, their crew commander, bring them and say, "He is guilty, this is who shot it down." That's why such questions are removed from consideration. There's video confirmation of how and what was shot down. When you join the army, you don't know anything yet. Certain actions of commanders may seem incomprehensible to you and somehow bad. It happens that there is a bad commander, but over time, when you go through the service yourself, you start to find your way, you find a unit you want to work in, where everyone likes you and you like everyone. Specifically, in our unit, we have never had any problematic moments or complaints against the commander during the entire period of service starting in 2021. The team is always there to meet you and, if necessary, cover your back. You looked around, everyone is working, but what are you doing when you're not working? We may not see the end of the war, but we will do everything to bring victory closer, and our relatives are able to continue living.